Is it true that the Quran uses Pharaoh's wife and Mary, the mother of Jesus, as examples for men and women to follow?
Yes, that is true. The Quran, in all the examples for the ideals of rightful behavior and the examples of bad behavior, is universal. And it doesn't restrict itself to any specific society, because the human being is human being. And whenever there is a praised human being in Egypt, Pharaoh's wife, representing a sort of independent thinking in an atmosphere which worship the Pharaoh, but she does not believe in this, and she accepted monotheism and worshipping the one God. And this was very difficult in a country like Egypt, and with all these traditions of Pharaoh as a god. So if the closest person to Pharaoh, that's his wife, changed and thought that this is does not make sense, and she has to worship the one God, this is something that should be praised, should be underlined, should be raised as an ideal, as an example for others. Mary also, although it is in not Arab, but it is in a Semitic society, but she had the experience, the very serious risk of having a child without a father in a society which, of course, condemns adultery and considered it not only against law, the Mosaic law, but it is against honor, against the dignity of the family, against everything. So she had this risk, and she accepted it to the end because this is the will of God, and she was raised to worship the one God. I think this is an ideal which cannot be repeated in any time. And I don't think that any woman could sacrifice as Mary sacrificed.
Let's talk about the Prophet Muhammad right now. How difficult was it for him to travel among the people, to talk about this, and to get some of these archaic practices like burying newborn females alive to stop?
Well, I believe that his way was to emphasize the faith in God. And if the people turn their loyalty from themselves or from the tribal authorities to God, they become more receptive to hear about what God wants them to do and how they should act. So by turning their direction to God and telling them that God created human beings, males and females, from the same origin, from the same source, and they are equally responsible before Him, and they will be equally punished or rewarded according to their behavior, and there is no inferiority in any woman. And in his own practice, when the women came to him and said, "We want a special session so that you may teach us and educate us, because we cannot catch with men. Men are always with you, and we have to care about the children, to care about the homes, and we do not find time. So you should give us a certain time in which no men are there, so that we have also certain questions that we cannot ask in front of men related to something very close to women." So he said he welcomed this, and he considered that this is the best suggestion that he had ever heard. And he assigned a certain day or a certain time for women, starting like this gradually in his teachings. In his companions, he did not make any differentiation or distinction between men and women. All are his companions, and all wanted to learn from him. And he, in this gradual way, people became used that there is no inferiority or superiority in the companionship of Muhammad.
Professor, explain the concept of al-Qawma within the context of men and women's relationship in Islam.
The word kawama or qawama in Arabic, which comes from the Arabic verb qama ala, it was mentioned once only in the Quran in chapter 4, the surah which is devoted in most of it to women, and it is called the chapter on women. In this verse, the Quran said that I shall have the Arabic word and then interpret or explain it, that men have qawama over women. What is qawama? Qama ala in Arabic means to take care of, to be responsible for. So it does not imply any superiority and inferiority. It is defining the responsibility of the man, that he has to care for the woman, especially in that society and in every society. When a woman has to stay at home for pregnancy, for delivery, for raising the new baby until he can or she can be independent or can rely on himself, in all this period, who will be responsible for the woman? Suppose from the beginning that they are equal and everybody is responsible for earning his living. What about the period in which the woman is forced to stay at home because of bearing the child and delivery and the caring about the child? There should be a definition of the person who is responsible during this period. And the Quran said that the man is responsible for caring about the woman during this period and in any time. And that's why the verse does not say superiority, it says qawama, that means caring for. And it put the reasons. Why? Because the man can always earn money, while the woman may not earn money because of her physical restrictions of bearing children and delivery and raising children and so on. بما فضل الله به بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. Because of two reasons. The first reason is the physical difference, which allows man to be always out to bring money, while a woman may be forced to stay at home. This is the first thing. And the second thing, to spend money, that he earns money to spend them. If he cannot earn money, and accordingly he would not spend money for any reason, because he is sick, because he is disabled, for any reason that comes late, you cannot say that the situation will be changed and the woman has to care for the man. So it is something which is made according to certain reason, and it is caring for and responsibility for, but not superiority or authority or whatever.
Okay, so there's no superiority within that context, but say today, in today's society, an Islamic woman can go out and make money,
yes,
and that is viewed as acceptable.
Yes.
There are no other limitations other than childbearing
No.
that the Quran places on women.
Well, the childbearing, I think it is a sociological and a practical matter, but it is not a legal matter. It is not a religious matter. Suppose that the society could manage to put nurseries, to make babysitters, to arrange this at the factories or at offices and agencies, so that the woman can give her children to a certain kindergarten or nursery or whatever connected with the factory or the agency or the company. This is, or the woman can be, as it happened in Scandinavia, can be given a leave for 2 years, guaranteeing or securing her position when she comes back after 2 years. Anything of this is acceptable by Islam, because Islam doesn't say that she should stay at home. No, there should be caring for the baby and the caring for the mother in a way or another. But it is not fixed by any specific law in Islam.
You've mentioned differences between men and women. Let's talk about now the way the Quran views men and women as equals. Give me some examples of that.
Well, with regard to the family, they are equals. Any family decision should be made after mutual consultation and consent. And the Quran here emphasizes both, that there should be consultation which leads to consent. Not consent only without consultation based on confidence, and this trust may be misused or abused. No, there should be consultation. And the consultation should lead to consent, not just hollow consultation without leading to any decision. So in the family, all decisions should be made according to mutual consultation and consent. And in the society, both men and women are equal in the responsibility of taking care of the society, participating in its common concerns, trying to correct the mistakes and to develop the society to the better. They are all equal according to the Quran in these responsibilities.
And it's much easier for a relationship, isn't it, when equal power shared?
Of course, they can understand one another and they can understand the concerns of one another and the responsibilities, because if they have the same responsibility and it happens that the man, not the woman, or the woman, not the man, is engaged in a certain responsibility of this responsibility, the other partner, because he has the same responsibility, but there is just a sort of scheduling or timing and so on, he will understand this and he will give her or give him, she will give him the excuse.
So the Quranic view of women is no different than it is of men?
No, they are the same completely, as human beings, as religiously responsible, as legally responsible, as equally accountable on the Day of Judgment.
So it's deeds then, it's the deeds of the men or the women that matter, not their gender.
Absolutely. The gender doesn't make any difference, and through the whole Quran you found we have in Arabic a feminine singular and a masculine singular, and it is known in Arabic, as in many Semitic and non-Semitic languages, that sometimes you use the masculine and you mean everybody, not only the masculines. And also for the plural, in Arabic you have feminine plural different from the masculine plural. And it is known in Arabic, if you use the masculine plural, you mean a universal order but not specific for men. But in spite of this fact, in Arabic, the Quran uses the singular masculine and the feminine, and the singular plural, masculine and the feminine, to emphasize that both are equally responsible to fulfill these requirements of religion. And this is in the whole Quran repeated in many verses, that human beings, males and females, should do this and this. The human being, man or a woman, should do this and that. It is repeated in the Quran to emphasize equality in a society which was used really to use just the masculine for everybody, whether singular or plural, but just to let them hear a different tone, to begin to distinguish that this religion is addressing both, and the both should receive the teaching equally and consider it seriously, because both are responsible human beings.